for coming to Azure Grand Assembly. Sorry for the mix-up there at the beginning, the audio stuff. Um, Today, this is our second ever fully voiced assembly. This is a new format that we started, so we've been kind of working on some kinks here and there. The getting everything over stream and in Discord and YouTube and everything all combined is a little bit of a challenge. But like I said, it's our second time ever trying this, so everybody really liked the format last time, so um, we're going to keep doing it. This time as well, we have also got live footage too. So last time it was just audio recording. Now, folks that are attending at the assembly will actually be on stream too. And then we'll also be able to, go back and see historic moments, like a few that may be happening today. So first off, first I want to give a big welcome to all of our new recruits. Thank you guys for joining us recently. To everybody that's joined within the past few weeks or since the last assembly in this past month, welcome to Azure. Welcome to Azure. We've always got a lot going on, a lot of stuff to look forward to. We've always got our weekly events, our special events coming up later this year. Of course, we've got the big expansion in a few months, so we're doing a lot of preparation for that. We talked quite a bit about that at the last assembly, but there's still more to talk about here at this one. We've prepared a number of topics and some very, very big giveaways today, and a very special celebratory type segment in a little while. Let me see here. I'm going to go ahead and turn... No, I'm not going to touch any settings. Not after just a little bit ago. I'm not touching any settings. We're going to keep it the way it is. It's working. All right. So the first thing I wanted to open with here and talk to you all about is the state of Azure Infinitum. That is our first topic right now. The current state of our free company, our wings, and our online services as well, and platforms. So we're here in the middle of what is about to be our 10th anniversary. So this is like the 10th year for Azure. We have come through all the Endwalker slog so far, waiting for Dawn Trail. The drought, the content drought, as they say, it's been a little slow. But we have actually kept our weekly events up a little bit longer than usual. Because of the content pattern kind of getting like off a bit, we've actually kind of reached a point where we were like, well, let's just keep things going. New recruits are coming in all the time. We might be able to still get people clears who don't have them yet, and things like that. So we decided to keep like 24-man Tuesdays, running as regular. Normally that would have been cut like maybe 4 months after release, because that's usually something that releases at the beginning of the year, not in like October where we got the last one. So we've been running that a long time, and we'll talk a little bit more about events, updates, and changes here shortly. But excuse me. Wrong pipe. Sorry. I sucked some air down the wrong pipe. With that being said, yeah, I'm okay.
Sure, that's what that was.
No, it's not ranch dressing. Okay, hold on one sec. I'm gonna get some water really quick.
Stop playing with that lava fell.
All right, I just sat on my headset. This is off to a great start. Oh my god. Okay, let's try that again. Goodness, I really gave me a hard time there. Okay. Yeah, no. Hidden Valley is not good for the lungs. Okay, so what are we looking at right now? We're looking at a couple months until Dawn Trail, right? So a lot of what we have announced in previous months about the Ascension project, that's our little boost overhaul project for the FC. What we've been working on, kind of fine tuning little things here and there, finding more ways to get people involved, working on building our assist core of scout ranks, and of course preparing for future leadership promotions and the expansion overall. Why do we prepare so much for the expansion? Well, as we talked about before, it is an extremely active period of time where everybody's hype level is through the roof. For the most part, it's very, 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 very active. Well, that can also be a great boost to Azure because we want activity. Activity is basically the blood of an FC in a sense. The members, new recruits, hands-on leadership, engagement, that's what we work on a lot. Probably one of the things we work on the most within the council, as well as our assist members that are kind of always, helping to push the bar and helping with hosting and those things. So that's always a big concern for us when we know an expansion's coming up. We want to build. We want to build. We want to build ranks. We want to build membership. We want to build engagement, activity, keep events exciting. All that. A lot of stuff that the council works on and gets involved with to basically keep things alive, especially during the downtimes. Downtime during expansion can be very slow, can actually break morale for some people and maybe get to a point where like, I'm playing these other games that are really awesome, and and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that the more that happens, the more the folks that are jazzed about logging in see less people. So it's our goal to give more and more reason to enjoy the free company you're in, aside from the lack of content coming out, since we're all waiting. We're on that waiting phase, while keeping things building at the same time. So I've always said, and we'll talk about it a little bit more later in the assembly. There's a topic about things to do during the content drought. What sort of ways we can get creative and build and prepare ourselves for the coming expansion. No matter what level you are, you don't have to be up to Endwalker to prepare for the expansion. There's a lot of stuff that comes out. It's more than just MSQ. There's updates to things. There's new items added to things. Things like maps are going to have new rewards. All kinds of stuff is going to come down in June. So, building up your gear, your gill, almost said gillier, your gill and your gear, and your jobs, and a lot of other things. It's a very, very good idea. So, current state of our free company. Well, here we are going into deep now into the second quarter of 2024. And of course, Dawn Trail is all in our minds, as we've been talking about. Um, a big thing that we're pushing right now is kind of slowly moving into the finalization of some of the weekly events, kind of finalizing things like 24-man Tuesdays, because it's getting older now. Slowly transitioning to some limited time activities, maybe some limited time events, things that we can do together that sorry, a note there. Things that we can do together to keep the interest flowing, and also keep helping our members achieve things that may be somewhat difficult or annoying to do alone. That's a big highlight of our events. Things that you can just show up in the yard on a given day at a certain time and get that thing done. I know we know it doesn't work for everybody, like the times and things like that, but we do try to fit our events at times that are kind of serving the greatest percentage as possible. And then we always encourage people to reach out, use our LFG channel, things like that, just to kind of be aware and know what your resources are for getting things done. So the current state of our free company right now, we are weathering what we call the content drought pretty well. Given the fact that rankings have actually been in a pretty pleasant place. They've been very stable. We judge our rankings based on the activity credits and where we're placed in the rankings of activity for FCs on Lodestone. Anybody can see that by going to their community section and looking at free company standings. And weekly fluctuates quite a bit, but the monthly will show the overall as well. But weekly still good to view. We kind of just take a look at it out of concern. It's not a priority. It is something that we look at as a testament to the activity within Azure. So that's built by people joining. That's built by people getting clears, content clears, and leveling, and all that fun stuff. And that's just basically, being an active, good FC kind of pushes that up. There are some on the list who do what we call boosting. They just turn in gear over and over and over again until they get like max credits and stuff. And those are the ones that you see that have like outlandish credits, millions upon millions more than everybody else. And then they have like a small FC. It just doesn't make sense. It also happens for FCs that will buy a mansion for some reason. That puts them at the top for a few days. So that happens too. But if you learn how to read the activity ratings, like you'll know that it's kind of a good loose sense of seeing what's happening. Like if we saw ourselves drop down to like 15, we'd know that was a serious issue. There would have to be a massive drop in activity. So activity, activity, activity. Can't get enough of it. And we're always keeping the door open for new folks to find us. Come in and check out Azure and all of our resources, channels, and things like that. Um, we I was just checking out chat there. You guys are cracking me up. So um, so things are good. Things are good. Stats are good. Over on our social media, we've opened up a few new pages recently. This is another way of getting people interested and involved in our free company, as well as providing information to those who are on those different websites that might enjoy also being connected to Azure over there. So we're on a big list now. If you go to the social media tab on our website, you can actually find everything that we're on. Recently, we've gotten up to about 8,000 new views on the Azure Pinterest account. Believe it or not, that exists. That's pretty new. We also opened up Blue Sky, Hive Social, and a few others that are on there. Pretty positive so far. Just kind of getting folks to realize that we are a global community. 14 is our crown gem with our other wings in tow, and that overall we have an overall organized structure here, as well as content that we do post on AzureNet. So things are very, very stable, and that means that they're very set up for the future too. Like we have a great foundation going forward. So within our free company, one of the things, and I will not lie to you guys, one of the things we need the most right now is folks that are members who, of course, we always need good members, but members that may be interested in stepping up to scout rank. Um, it's funny because we had a good talk about it actually yesterday, during and post event. But we are looking for folks that are interested in stepping up a rank just above member to scout rank, because building our scout core is very important. Um, we we do mention this a little bit at each assembly, but we usually mention it towards the end as a shout out. But I wanted to explain why it's so important. Scouts are eyes and ears of the council. They are not leadership or authority ranks. Scouts are like light mods who just kind of do what they do already as active, helpful members that engage with the community, but also are connected to the support channels. Meaning, they can put in a recruitment report if they decide to recruit. Recruitment's not mandatory by any means, nor is it judged for their rank. But they have the ability to put in like a warning to, say, oh, hey, there's a troll outside. So, make sure that, we keep an eye out, make sure there's no harassment. That's rare, but, things that the FC, leaders would need to know, or other scouts. Maybe there's notes on, hey, a bunch of members are starting a rumor about why somebody left, but we just found out they left to go play with friends. That's all. So scouts would all be aware of that all at once. They would know why, and they would be able to, calm any issues or whatever. But like I said, not authority, not leadership, just extra eyes and ears that would, keep an eye on things. Scouts that stay involved in the Scout Corps, the assist stands for Azure Scout Squad Initiative and Support Team. It's just a fun little acronym. They do have that option of seeking training, our training, as we call it, which it's not like training, but it is more like shadowing. We have meetings with scouts that are very active who become scout sergeants. That's a sign of a very active, event engaged scout, and who will then be able to be taught about how we group. Now, some people might think, oh, putting together a treasure party, you just invite and go. It's a little bit more complicated than that, actually. We have certain things that we like the event host to say at the right times, reminding people of the gear wear buffs, reminding them of chocobos, knowing that we take a 10-minute break for our intermissions, little things like that. Just kind of fine tuning someone's ability to remember those things and put them out the right way so it's not confusing. Because over the years, we've really had a lot of trial and error with these events. Our events are something where we're pretty known for, and the way that we do them is kind of unique. Now, that doesn't mean anybody else couldn't do it, but we are really adamant about keeping things to protocol, which is what's helped them stay so organized. The last thing we want is for any confusion during an event, for a member to show up and say like, "Oh, hey, this other host like told me I didn't have to do this, or didn't mention that," and that's why we have things so uniform. So that way, there's no confusion. When we have a sergeant that's interested in a couple weeks of us, shadowing them, like the council and I, shadowing them on performing some of this protocol, we actually give them what we call an event clearance, so they don't need council guidance. They can host things and be assigned to our duty roster, and that's how they become a scout captain. So we notice over time, not everybody knows where all the like the rank info is and how to rank up here, and we never want anybody in the free company to ever feel like nobody ever promoted me, but I was there for 2 years. Like that's just not how it works. Like, we have support and then we have leadership, and we may not always know that some people are interested in that. So we'll give shout outs like this to kind of like remind people that, hey, we have these really flexible ranks. If people want to get more involved and help, awesome. I know right now there is a lot of us, me included, who, we see chat moving like it is right now, and we're like, oh, that's awesome. It's great to adventure and have your FC feel alive and, people enjoying being in it. But what we really also want to see as well is those downtimes be a little more lively too. And if you want to, if you're interested, if you're out there, anybody that's in the audience, and you're interested in having a part in making it even more exciting, let us know, because it starts very slow and it's not something that it's ever mandatory to be promoted. You could stay at a certain rank. We like to look at our ranks as a, not so much a ladder, but a horizontal set of jobs that are. I mean, I shouldn't call it a job, but it is a voluntary position, of being good at each part of it. So each role is important to be good at. We need good scouts, we need good sergeants, we need good captains, we need good lieutenants, and so on and so forth. And everything is fully outlined on the site on how those work. So we just try to stay organized. There is like no like mandatory, oh, you got to do this a lot, to maintain the rank. We want folks that are just passionate about helping the FC, love Azure, are supportive of Azure and its services. We've said in the past that what we look for in leadership, which is above scouts, but what we look for in leadership is we don't look for yes men. We look for folks that are just enjoy being here, enjoy our services, enjoy what Azure is, and want to help make it enjoyable for everybody else. So that's what we're looking for over any skill. It doesn't matter if you're a hardcore raider and you know every mechanic in the game, but you're not into the community, then we don't want that in our leadership. That's something that we definitely want to avoid. So we're working towards the future. We want all of our membership to know this, because it helps us when we know that you guys are also on the same page, knowing that even if nobody here ever promotes to council, you can at least rest assured that the work we're doing to raise leaders for this FC is with that focus, the focus of we are looking for folks, passionate about making a great community. It's not about Azure zeal and, hardcore ruling with an iron fist or anything like that. It's about the FC. It's about providing a place that we've always really wanted to see in a guild, and we're going to make it, we're going to manifest it. We're going to do that together. And that's the hard work that we put in. We have our customs, we have our colors, our crest. We're a guild, we're an organized guild, and that's who we are. It's part of our identity as a community. And so I think after all these years, 10 years it's been of top rankings, trailblazing moments, our alliances that we have, we're grateful for our allies, the times we've shared in these 10 years and all the times to come. I think that's something to be proud of. There's folks out there, who would think, why would a guild be proud? It must just be a hangout social thing. It's a lot more than that, and it can mean a lot to a lot of people. I've seen folks where it's like this is where they met their partner. There's folks that have had a kid because they met in Azure, and so this is a very sentimental, special thing that we all have to come to. Not have to come to. I mean, we all have, and we come to it. On a daily or semi-daily or weekly basis to enjoy, and that's why it matters. That's why it matters to make the best community we possibly can together. So with our organized structure, we're trying to do that as much as we can. And our current status of Azure Infinitum is a mid-core, semi-casual social group that does provide a good amount of content in the weekly events. And we've got special stuff coming up too. We do take a lot of suggestions and feedback. I don't ever want anybody to feel like they can't, give some feedback. It's not always about what I or the council or, we want to know what the community wants the most, and that's really important to us because then we can take what we know, might work or what we can try and go from there. So don't forget too, we have a contact box at the bottom of Discord where you can put in like a contact ticket, or it's called a help ticket, but it can be for putting in a private suggestion or something. And you can also DM because it's Discord. So there's a lot of options there to communicate with leadership. Never feel like you can't communicate with leadership because we are very down to earth. And like I said, building that leadership for all of us, including aid to our council, and then aid within our council to aid the generals and I. Getting that all organized has been a very big thing. So one of our goals with the Ascension project that we announced a couple months back was basically a lot of structure type stuff within Azure and getting that all kind of hammered out and ready to go for Dawn Trail. And so one thing that we didn't have in the past, we didn't have a council charter, a charter for the council. That is a document basically that's pretty simple, but it basically outlines these are the rules of council. Because if council is unruly per se, not saying it ever has been or was, but if it were to get to the point where we had a lot of clashes or things like that, it would affect the entire community. And that's the thing we want to avoid the most. So going forward, we have a very smooth, clear outline for how we want to run our leadership team. And then we're building our support team while also building our membership and keeping recruits flowing. Because one thing that is a truth that I discovered very, very early on in our first company, which wasn't really mine. I inherited it, and then I found out it was a false rank. So when they came to take it back, all the members was like, let's make our own. So we left and made Azure. That's our founding story in a nutshell, a very small nutshell. But early on, I realized that the previous group had actually decided to close recruitment, and things got stale real fast because no matter what, we have to remember that we all have real lives. So things are changing all the time. There's folks coming in, there's people able to log in every day, and they're hardcore, they stay through the content drought, doesn't matter, they're always in love with 14. Other folks come and go, they play with patches, they play with expansions, and then they go away for a couple years or a month or two, regardless. But to keep that energy alive that I mentioned at the beginning of the assembly, to keep that energy alive and to keep it where it's always flowing, seeing our chat moving, seeing people that answer when we ask, anybody for a run, etc. Anybody want to help with this and things like that. You have to have a percentage of energy and activity that's always kind of flowing. And the only way to achieve that, besides engagement and building social relations and stuff like that, is also keeping recruitment up. It really is. I can't tell you how optimistic it is that it makes everybody feel, or many feel, when we look at the FC menu and we see the green, the green on there, so-and-so has joined, because then we go, hey, new friends. And sometimes those new friends might be lasting comrades that are with us for a very, very long time. We never know. There's this outer core that comes and goes with all communities. Building the inner core takes a lot of outer core, being brought in, and then over time there's a percentage. So out of 20 recruits, 2 will stay longer than 6 months. That's kind of how it goes. And recruitment right now is, even though it's not everybody's cup of tea, and I know we have a lot of scouts where it's like, okay, I'll throw out a shout, here and there, and others that are like, nope, I'm good, I don't want to recruit, I don't like talking to people. I'm kidding, but it isn't everybody's cup of tea, and that is kind of one of my big things that I'm looking for right now, is folks that are interested in recruiting. Because We have folks who are answering applications, and we have members even that'll say, "Hey, we got an app," and that's super helpful when our members do that. But for those that are going out and like seeking people and talking with them and using our protocol, we even have very simple, 3 or 4 part macros that basically cover all the basics and would get someone in pretty quick while being fully informed. They're surefire macros that work really, really well even. Um, Folks that are interested in doing shouts for the FC, let's get Azure's name out there. Let's let people know, because we don't pitch to those who were in an FC. This can be debated night and day, 24/7, 365, but we don't believe in what we call poaching. Poaching, for those that don't know, is when you go to another FC and you say, "Hey, I've got something I can give you. Also, here's this bad fact I made up about your FC so that you'll leave it and come join us because we'll get you clears." Or, that's poaching. That's getting someone to leave a community. And there are people in the server that exist, across all servers, who have no problem doing that. There's no honor in that whatsoever. We have had that as a rule since the beginning of our free company, is we do not pitch to anybody that has an FC already unless they ask first. If they inquire first and say, "Hey, I really want to know how to join you guys," then hey, by all means, go gung ho. Just document the fact that they asked first, in case we need it, because that's what shouts help with. So if we have folks that are interested in teleport shouting, or tele shouting as we call it, we have a standardized Azure shout. You can just hit every tele in the whole realm and then just pop a shout at each one. We don't want to overshout either, and we don't want to annoy people. So we have rules on doing it only once or twice a day, letting the team know. If you're in the scouts or join the scouts, you can post in scout chat, "Hey, I just went on a tele shout run," and that'll let us know that it's been done recently. We need folks that are interested in doing that. We need folks that are also interested in sending tells with a little, "Hey, are you looking for an FC? I come from this, active, organized, established community called Azure, and we're looking, to see if, we noticed you were FC-less, and see if you'd like to join." A little message like that can go a long way. Even if they say no, there's also an answer for that too. And let them know, well, if you're ever looking for one, we're here, and gonna go down the list on player search. That can really help. We also have passive party finder recruitment, and then of course we're putting up ads, out there online as well. Different services such as Discords and Reddit are also very helpful. Community finder, not everybody thinks of that first when they go to look for an FC, but it's out there. But needless to say, and I'll move on from this topic. But needless to say, we are looking for folks interested in doing any of that at all, because right now I have these days where I'll sit down and have some extra time, and I'll say, "Okay, let's see if we can get a couple of new recruits in today," because that slow trickle is what we want. We don't want like 50 at one time. We want a few every now and then. A lot of you probably notice from the FC window that you'll see that now and then, and because, like I said, once we get to Dawn Trail, there might even be folks that join us that are new best friends of ours, and by Dawn Trail, they might even be able to get to scout or something and be extra eyes and ears for the free company. You have no idea what helping a new person or recruiting somebody can actually do for the free company. That can just create a ripple effect like no other, and you never know. So I've always believed that to fully move forward and onward in our goals and advancing our community, it takes the community to do it. It doesn't just take me, doesn't just take Major or anybody else in the council, not just the scouts keeping an eye on things. It takes the community. So we can manifest a community that is highly active, seeing new people come in with awesome events and awareness across the board. So we're seeing tons of attendance. We can see that again. Right now, it's slow. Right now, it is slow. It's not the slowest, but it is slow because we're waiting for an expansion. And we've kind of reached this point where it's a great time to take like an inward look and go, "Hey, what can we work on?" So as far as the status of Azure Infinitum goes, we sit in a very good foundation, but we have needs. And we have needs in a few different needs. We can also post, some lists of that as well. We do in the future. Major would probably be one to know more about it, but we are building up resources for the FC too, which means there's also stuff that might be gatherable that we could put in lists. If the community could help with that, that would also be extremely helpful. We are making sure that we have solid resources and ships and subs ready to go for the future, so that we could also provide a large number of grade 3 buffs, more than we've had before. I did also want to announce that with our grade 3 buff project, that what that is aside from the normal 8 a month that we provide for the FC, we have actually already reached our goal of providing 60 for the first 2 months of Dawn Trail daily. Most FCs can only get 8 a month, even if they try the hardest they can possibly try. It's only 8. You have to have a project like what we're working on that involves multiple estates to actually have daily grade 3. So with the daily grade 3 bonus, the percentage of XP and the amount of levels going on is going to massively give us credits, which is also going to boost our rankings, which could also bring in more people. This is a very, very big project, as well as bringing back tons of resources for Azure, which will also have that'll boost the guild bank, boost resources. We're going to have a large number of tabards available during our Azure Day weekends. Those are the 1 or 2 million guild FC uniforms that we give out, one to everybody. Don't have to wear it. It's just good for our big group photos, or everybody kind of gets one to commemorate their membership. So we're going to have a lot, and prizes in the future are going to get bigger. They're going to get bigger because we're also going to be bringing in more resources, and that is like a fact already with what we're developing right now. We've got a lot of projects going on, so don't be deceived by any quiet days in Azure. There's a lot going on always. But before we move on here, going back to the assembly channel here, Major, did you have any comments on our current status as an FC or community?
Not right off the top of my head at the moment, because I've been multitasking, so it kind of...
Terry in the channel. You want to join us on the stage, Terry? I'll send you an invite. There we go.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay.
I haven't looked back at the channel in a minute. Sorry.
Touching on the depot, I would like to make a small announcement with that.
Our depot project. Okay.
Yes. So me and Major have been working very vigorously on this. There's a fun fact that I would share with you guys. We'll have probably 4 depots done by the end of this next couple months, and should be by the end of this year. We should looking at almost 8 depots, hopefully. That's our current goal with the depots.
Excellent. Okay. It's a lot to look forward to. Like I said, that means a lot of boost in resources, prizes, buffs. It's going to go through the roof. Okay. Well, let's see here. So, a lot to look forward to. I think as a member, our members should look forward to some limited time type of events popping up between now and Dawn Trail. The finalization of a few current ones in the week right now. A couple changes, which I'll update here in a second, as well as getting ready for Dawn Trail, which is going to also be back-to-back with the premiere of our 8-Man Tuesday coming back probably a couple weeks after Dawn Trail releases, when the Arcadian raids come out. We also plan on doing day 1 clears for that, as well as day 1 clears of the 24-man when that's out later this year. And then very soon after, I think it's going to be probably exactly 2 months from Dawn Trail's release, we're going to bring back Azure Summerfest, which will be a big 3-day event that we're going to do. So this summer is going to be really exciting. And with our resources and everything else, going up, that's going to be big. Also, we've got the 10th anniversary celebration taking place later this year in November. So definitely look forward to that. So good stuff all the way around. But again, if interested in scout and recruitment, let us know. Yeah,
I do have something to bring up about the depot projects that we're working on. So for those of you that do have alts, we don't necessarily have to, if you don't want to, we don't have to bring them into the main Azure FC. We could use them in the depots to help level depots. So, and what that will allow us to do is get like the cerulean tanks to send out ships and subs, and give us credits to be able to buy those things. So that way, it's not just one person doing it. So for those of you that do have holds, keep that in mind, because that would really help us out on the depot side of it. If you have
And
all,
the server is not congested anymore, so if you want to make new characters on it, you better do it now. Even if you don't use them, just make them to keep them, because it'll get congested again, and you won't be able to make any new ones for a while.
I would like
if you
to
bought
add,
the expansion, you get the ring that'll help you level too. So,
Is that Terry?
I'd like
earring,
to add
sorry.
to Major's comment there, and if you want to help, like donate resources for depot development, Major has been keeping pretty heavy track of the resources that we need. So don't hesitate to contact him if you want to help out in that way as well.
All right, so we talked about FC needs and some plans, as well as the state of the free company currently, as well, actually overall, Azure. We are also, just a quick shout out to our YouTube. We're actually starting to get a lot more streaming being done, which means we're also taking a lot of clips and putting them on our YouTube. So it's a really nice way to kind of provide like logs of events. Sometimes there's memorable moments during events that might show up over on our YouTube. We've also got entire event nights that are recorded and put on there, so people can actually check out and see, hey, this is how they do that event. I don't get to go a lot of the time, but I can still like check it out and watch it, and hear the voices of the FC and laugh, or and then folks that are new to Azure, they can actually see how those events are run too. So those are popping up along with a few other things on there, like our podcast is back now. Episode 25 was released a couple weeks ago. We've got a new episode 26 being recorded in the near future, and then assembly casts like this will go on there as well. And then there's also some Let's Plays that'll pop up of my own every now and then. But that's also something that's new. Usually we would just use our YouTube for like big announcements, or mostly just the podcast. So that's something that is now popping up over there. Let's take a short break here. We've been talking about 40 minutes since the audio issues. We're going to do a raffle, and after the raffle's over, we'll go into part 2 of the assembly. So let's take a quick break. Now I'll explain how this raffle works here. We have a prize pool. I'm going to announce a few prizes, and we're going to do a raffle. I've got to stand in the middle of the room because I have to see everybody's numbers. If you want to enter, all you've got to do is type in either a 3-digit number that is on our stream, or you can do a /random in game. And if you do /random in game, I'll call time after about a minute, and then I'll random, and the number closest to mine will win a prize. So go ahead and /random if you like to enter. Let's see. Our first prizes for the raffle. Wow, we got some really crazy stuff here. Also, towards the end of the assembly, we're going to be raffling off a game code for Symphony of War. Let's see. But first raffle is big in-game items. Big in-game items. Wow.
Well, if you're watching it on stream, Lion, you can type a 6-digit number or a 3-digit number in the stream on Twitch.
Okay, let's see here. I'm blown away by like how awesome this prize pool is. My tab, there we go. I had to tab over to see the numbers. I didn't have my log for a second. Okay. Yep. So get about a minute here, and then we'll announce the winning, or the number that is closest number. Okay. All right. We're gonna go. I'm gonna go in order of what we have here in the prize list. So I'm gonna go ahead and let's see. Change to say random. If you're watching online on Twitch, for those that are with us, you can't see the chat box, so you won't see the numbers, but I'll be announcing them here. Okay. Is that number 1 on the list, Rack? Yes, it is. Okay. Yeah, I just looked over and confirmed. Okay. All right. We're gonna call time. Now, these are flash raffles, so they're gonna go a little faster. We just had to get everything together there. All right. So first number closest to mine, 113. 113. Let's see here.
That
Let me
would
go
be
ahead and
Hero with
expand my log.
117.
117. Awesome. Okay. Hero, congrats. All right. You want to know what the prizes is? Let's see. Where are you? Go ahead and come up and get your trade me for your prize. All right, Hero. You've got a, don't mind the junk in my inventory, a Pisa Patissier, a Gold Whisker, a Weatherproof Gallicat, and a Petite Pteranodon. Congratulations. Woo! All right, and it's time for another one. Go ahead and roll again, guys. All right, you got the numbers are coming in. I'll go ahead and expand it so it can kind of see there. Okay. Cool beans. All right, and like I said, if you'd like to enter, put a 3-digit number on Twitch. And about to be time. All right, and my number is 805. Who is closest to 805? Nobody's in the 8s. We got a couple 600s.
That would be Talon.
Talon, all right. Come on up, Talon. Congratulations. Talon has won a Dalmo whistle. All right, and now time for our third one. Go ahead and post your numbers. /random or 3-digit on Twitch. Numbers are coming in now. Let's see. Alright, last chance to get numbers in if you haven't yet. Okay. And time. Number closest to 82. 82. So that'd be a really low one. I see...
Jaden.
Yeah, no, there's Vanika's 98, 95.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, looks like Vanika, right?
Yep, Vanika.
Yep. Congratulations, Vanika. Alright, Vanika wins a Blue Feather Barding. Alright, and we're going to do one more. Don't worry, there's at least two more raffle phases or three more raffle phases coming later in the assembly. Keep those numbers going. Like I said, 3-digit number on Twitch. Thank you, Rock. Yes, and you can enter again if you didn't if you won or not. It doesn't matter. You can enter again. All right. Don't see any new ones on Twitch. Hey, random. 513. 513. Who's closest to 513? Major is close. Did you win, Major? I don't see any upper 400s. Looks like Major.
Really?
Yep. And Major gets an Island Pirifool whistle.
Actually, don't have that.
Nice. Well, good job. All right, we are going to do announcements phase 2, and we will have another raffle phase after that. The prizes get even bigger. Trust me, it's going to be really exciting. Okay. Congrats to our raffle winners. Let's see here. Okay. So we're going to start out talking a few things about events, and then we're going to have a special promotion segment after that, followed by some more topics.
Did you see my tell, by the way?
Your tell.
I can resend it if need be.
Yeah. That's kind of what I had in mind. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, so as far as weekly events in Azure goes, so I mentioned earlier about our 24-Man Tuesdays is coming to an end until, as far as Mists of the Realm trilogy goes. Mists of the Realm has run as a Tuesday raid since Mists of the Realm, the first raid, Aglaya, came out back in the middle of 2022. So we're looking at almost 2 years that we've been running that raid every week in Azure. When it was off, it was only off during Pandemonium weeks, which is when the raid was temporarily retired and Pandemonium's newest one came out. And then we would go back to the Euphrosyne. When Euphrosyne came out, then it was Aglaya and Euphrosyne, and we did that for a very long time, all the way to towards the middle of last year, and then that went on a break, and we got the final Pandemonium raids. Those were retired after a good run. Many months of those, and finally the Mists of the Realm trilogy, running Aglaya, Euphrosyne, and Thalea all in a row for the 3 weekly coins. And it has been a good run. Very good run. Of course, in the beginning when they're brand new, tons of people want to see them, tons of people want to clear them, and tons of people want the gear and the coins, right? But as time goes, less and less needs, things kind of trickle out, and we start seeing just a single party. And then now we're kind of at that point where we've seen barely a single party for that one, because there's been a lot less need. So when there's that much drop and it's consistent, that's when we take a look back and we go, okay, it's mostly hosts and a couple others showing up. I think it's time we put something else in this slot for the FC. So I would like to announce that we are phasing out Azure 24-Man Tuesdays Mists of the Realm trilogy, and that it has officially concluded. But I want to thank everybody who has come to 24-Man Tuesdays, helped host it, and who has given us hilarious commentary during it, those who've helped with callouts during it. It's been a good 2 years of running Mists of the Realm raids. Back when Endwalker was announced, we were really excited for this, the first ever completely original FF14 story that wasn't a crossover, because the other ones are a bit more crossover heavy, outside of Nier and Crystal Tower and things like that, this was a really interesting one that revealed some stuff we had been wanting to know for a long time in the game. Mists of the Realm was pretty exciting, had a lot of surprising moments and boss battles, including the storyline behind it. For some, it may not have hit as hard as things like Near, but I think during this period of time for our raids in between Pandemonium, it did provide an exciting raid night that usually saw at least 2 full groups, sometimes 3 when we completed an alliance party finder or whatnot. And in recent weeks, like I said, we've had the data to say, okay, it's probably finally time to call it. This also, like I said, gives us a chance to put something else in that slot. And we don't really want to confirm what's going to be in that slot in the week just yet because there's some ideas floating around. We want to fine tune those ideas first before we make a big announcement. So a lot of us that are working on Tuesday, the new Tuesday, we are pretty much settled on the fact that it will be what we call an LTE, a limited time event. That means an event that'll run for a month or two, because we want to just basically fill that slot until Dawn Trail. And then when Dawn Trail comes, we do our standard event pause and event rollout. And that'll mean the first so many weeks events are completely on a pause because of how much we need to do to get, through the MSQ. And the big rock and chat, it's funny. The big pause where we're all super focused and super hyped on the event content, and then it also means that we've got to get through, especially event hosts and council will need to get through the Dawn Trail content to be able to host the events that will roll back in. And when events roll back in later this year after they go on a pause in June, they'll roll back in probably 1 week at a time roughly. There's going to be new raids and new maps. They usually show up around the 2-week mark into the expansion, sometimes a 4-week mark, it just depends. That'll be the first ones rolling back in, so it'll be Arcadian Tuesdays at that point. Shogo racing, well, that'd be interesting. We did try to do that in the past, but we usually do that during Azure days. As far as Sunday goes, we have had several changes to Sundays in recent times. So Sunday was originally, so we had Azure, we had Bloody Sunday, then that's the PvP. We had Super Azure Slayer Sunday, which was our bi-weekly Sunday PvP, which kind of kept it interesting because it wasn't being done every week. It would be like an every 2 weeks meetup thing, just like a couple of our Saturday events. Then we moved it to Super Azure Slayer Saturday for just a couple months, because we did a community poll to see what our community at that time would be interested in, and Saturday night seemed to be a good time for it. However, that changed and we went back to Sunday, and it was working for a while. Sunday is great because we can throw up the Wolfmarks buff and the MGP buff without sacrificing anything else in the week, and it's kind of a day, it's an offish day where some folks are getting ready for the work week and some are just chilling at the end of the weekend and might want to do some PvP. Well, we have seen a little bit of a drop in that, and that's why we wanted to adjust it and say, well, during this time, especially when we're on the build up to Dawn Trail, it might be a good idea, since we're only seeing small groups show up on Sunday, to make it bi-weekly again, and that's what we're going to do. So Super Azure Slayer Sunday will return to being a bi-weekly event. We may or may not put something in that slot. That's the off Saturdays. Currently, it is a every week thing, but it will probably be going to either a first and third or a second and fourth Sunday type situation. There is interest in Blue Mage content. We don't want to confirm or deny that. We're trying to figure out the best way to do that right now as an event. And I think we'll have a better statement on that soon for what we will actually organize in terms of Blue Mage content, because there is the interest is out there. It is definitely out there, but we've got to figure out the best way to do that and how to roll it out. And if we do it as a bi-weekly, that might be good for the FC, because bi-weekly events like Mountathon are great when it's finite content. That means content that there's only so much of that you're not going to need all the time, and once you collect it all, there's not as much reason to attend. We want to make stuff that is good for our members on a regular basis, gives them a reason to come back, and that they enjoy as well. So with collecting spells, that only goes so far. Doing other content as Blue Mage might also be interesting. We've tried Blue Mage maps before. That was kind of fun. Whatever it is, it will probably rotate, so it won't always be the same thing all the time, but it'll be Blue Mage related. And maybe, I'm not promising this, but maybe there's a way that we can make a registry of like who has what spells or what needs there are, because that would be really cool to work on. We do have like a list of mounts that people own for attendees. So those that pop into Mega Mountathon, we kind of know what they need ahead of time, that kind of thing. Something like Blue Mage would be really interesting too. And a lot of people forget it's there. I forget it's there. I haven't leveled mine. So between leveling, collecting spells, and doing cool stuff with it, we could probably put something together. But I don't want anybody to think that we're not thinking about it, because we have gotten like a good chunk of feedback on it.
There's
as
also
something we can do.
achievements.
There's achievements. Exactly. There's achievements.
Achievement runs as Blue Man groups.
There's achievements. There's a number of things you might not even like really realize that is there for that. And then, in about a year and a half, we're going to see Beastmaster content coming out as the next limited job. So there might be even more we can do with that at that time. Maybe even follow the Blue Mage pattern that we create for this period of time. Who knows? The sky's the limit. That's not a pun. Okay, so moving on. Wednesday and Thursday will remain the same. Friday will remain the same. Those all have current rewards. When we have someone show up for low-level maps does not have a whole ton of interest right now. There's usually just a few. We'll try and split parties and see what volunteers will go for low-level maps on Thursday. But if we can combine, we might do that too. It will vary depending on who shows up. So just putting that out there. Fridays will remain 90 maps, and Saturday events will remain untouched. We may need to consider a change to our Friday Destiny clan meet. That hasn't been talked about with the clan just yet, but it is something that may be a result soon, because we do have our wings. We do have our Azure wings. Let me see here. That is also meant to be spoken more about after the promotion ceremony that we're about to have. So just keep in mind, there's a lot of moving parts in the background when it comes to events, structure, everything I talked about earlier with the status of Azure, and the fact that we are always kind of staying open-minded for what LTEs we can create, what limited time events. Because from here to Dawn Trail, there is some stuff we've been doing for a while, like the same trials we've been doing too in Mon, which are a little bit more exciting than running the same raid that nobody needs, things like that. We're all kind of starting to collect a lot of coins that are just kind of piling up now. Quite a bit of us are. So it is a good idea to try to find something else on Tuesday. Doesn't mean this next coming Tuesday we'll have it all finished and figured out yet. It might be a couple of weeks. Just bear with us. We'll have an announcement soon on what we're going to be doing on Tuesday nights. Let me see, was there anything else with the events I'm missing? I think that's about it for right now. There is something I wanted to say that's wing related, but I'll wait till we get there. Let's see here. Okay, so those are basically our plans right now. So adjusting Sunday to bi-weekly, and Tuesday will be retired for temporarily until we have a new limited time. But Mists of the Realm is officially retired. Now, let's see. I'd like to let Major open up this next segment here, because the next segment is a historic part of Azure Infinitum's history that is about to unfold amongst us in front of our eyes. And it's a very special thing that we do when we have a number of special promotions. Take it away, Major.
Would you come forward, Rika, please? Terry, would you come forward, please? Take center there, Rika, would you? So, here a few months back, I started working with a group of people and have worked really hard with them on getting to know them, and it has been 100% an honor for me to work with this group of people. So, Emma, Defensor, Rakvasha, and Cecily, would you guys step forward? it is an honor as the first people that are going to be brought up into our new council ranks as lieutenants. So I officially dubbed Defensor Lieutenant, Emma as Lieutenant, Rakvasha as Lieutenant, and Cecily as Lieutenant. And I will give you the floor now, Rika, as the rest of it is yours. Just remember, as you get this rank, you have to provide a statement to the FC.
Okay. So, I would like to congratulate you guys, Cecily, Emma, Defensor, and Rakvasha, on becoming our first Azure Infinitum Council Lieutenants of the Novus Lux Aeternum era. And as we celebrate the continuation of our Ascension project and our overall community overhaul going on this year, in this moment, I would like to announce the commencement, the official beginning of what we call the third Azure Council. If you guys, one at a time, maybe from left to right, would face the community and give your statements as new leaders of Azure Infinitum.
And then take your seat as you give your statement. I wanted to thank Major as well, our hand here, for overseeing them very, very closely during their journey. Defensor, you go first.
Did we want to do the assembly channel, or did you want to write something? You can do either or. If it's written, I'll read it out loud. If they want to come up on the stage channel, we can also do that as well.
I had the wrong channel up.
Okay, let's see. I'm going to invite to speak for Defensor first. We're going right to left. Okay. Welcome to the stage, Defensor.
Howdy ho. Well, this is great. It's not my first time being here, but if I recall the last time I was in this position, I said I would do everything I could to make sure that your time in game is just as fun as mine. And I'm always open to listen to anybody that needs to talk about something, whether it's, something personal or just if they have questions that they're too afraid to ask in the FC channel themselves. That is all. I'm sure it's fun. Deal with it.
All right. Welcome back to the Azure Council, Defensor.
Emma, would you like the stage?
Long awaited. And you can stay up here if you like. Let's see.
Here,
do we have? Oh, you got it.
I grabbed
it.
Okay. Yeah, I grabbed Emma.
Welcome to the stage, Emma.
Hello. I wasn't giving notice about this, so you guys are new. If anyone has anything they need, I'm always happy to help. I'm always on my alt or my main. You can't usually tell the difference because there's only one letter apart. Happy to be here and love to do all the events and stuff with you guys.
Well said. Thank you, Emma, and welcome to the Azure Council.
Right, I got Rack.
I would just like to say, what Defensor said, the end. No, I'm just kidding. I've been in Azure for quite a long time now, a few many years, and I've seen a lot of people.
I joined at the same time, didn't we?
Yes, we did. I've seen quite a few people move through the ranks. I've seen quite a few people come, quite a few people go, and throughout this entire time, Azure has been a home to me. The people have felt like friends, brothers, sisters, community. And I aim to continue that. So obviously, if anybody needs any help, like the other inductees have said, or if anybody wants to share glams or any kind of housing ideas, anything like that, I am always down. I think glams, mounts, minions, that's the true end game. That's what I come for. So hey, if you got a good glam, just come by and show me.
Well said, Rec. Welcome to the Azure Council.
And CC.
Did that work? Okay, good. So, yeah, thank you everyone for giving me this honor. I plan to basically do what they're all going to do and mostly just follow Emma and let her do everything. Just one thing I wanted to say is, like, I've played this game forever, but I've never really found a community to stay in. So, this one seems to have stuck, and I'm very happy with that. So, if you ever need any help, just let me know. Also, I ran out of bathwater, so I might need some help with that. Thanks!
Am I hearing CC wants bathwater in his mail?
I need help taking a bath, actually.
Thank you, Cecily, and welcome to the Azure Council. Look at that. Let's get well, actually perfect for a screenshot. Let me go ahead and snap a shot here. Oh, even the snake moved out of the way for me to take a picture. It's perfect. So what you see before you is the very beginning of the official commencement of the third Azure Council. Previous councils served between the years 2017 and 2019, as well as 2020 through 2023. These eras, per se, of our council represent a group of leaders who are seated on positions to take on the next, so many years of service to Azure, as well as their time and commitment, as well as the group's time and commitment as a team and individually to make the most out of these leadership positions that have been honored for quite some time. Serving the community from the highest positions, working directly with generals and I, and making the most out of our free company and taking it into the future.
Hey, you should take a screenshot of what you got on the screen right now.
I did actually. It's
of all of us together?
Yeah, it's a perfect shot, actually, if I G-pose it. I don't want to take too much more time because we're at the hour-and-a-half mark almost, but we'll also have the video you can clip too. That's a really good shot there. But yeah, that is a historic moment in our history, the beginning of the third council. This council will no doubt serve years of members in our community for however long our members here together are on it before we refresh and if we ever have to, we never know. It is an inevitability at some point, in the future that the council will continue to evolve. But I'm very proud to have everybody on this team with us. Everybody here has spent a lot of time as scouts doing supportive work for Azure, as well as helping host through the fire and the flames of hosting, and then have stepped up to meet the demands of leadership and the needs of leadership, I should say, for our community. And anybody that's curious about what lieutenants do, and or generals, right, can also check out the ranks page anytime at azureinfinitum.com.
Or you can ask any of our current lieutenants.
Yep. So, let me check.
That was a joke.
Your do it now, so post it later in Discord, but you can do it in the rewrite. I have a special message as well for our community from our third general. We have Terry here and Major, our hand. And I have a special message here from Stefan von West, who has been a general with Azure since 2019. And that is, let's see, that's in general quarters, right? Yeah. The second one, the one you posted. Okay. This message from Stefan. Stefan, as many people know, has been a little bit struggling in activity for a while. He has had a lot of things going on IRL that are very important. Of course, we all, no matter how much we are dedicated here, sometimes IRL is something that takes precedence. It does take precedence. It's very important. So he has been seeing to a lot of things. It is not uncommon for leadership, even scouts and members, to feel a bit down about not being able to be here with you all on a day-to-day basis. In the past, Stefan had led Tuesday raids for several years, very, very diligently, very, very vigilantly. It was a major voice on event nights throughout Treasure Thursdays, raids, 24-man raids, Eden raids, you name it. This is the message that Stefan has prepared for our community. He says, "Hello, everyone. It is with a heavy heart that I share some news with you all. After much reflection, I've come to the difficult decision to step away from my role as General of the Azure Council. Recent events in my personal life have made it increasingly challenging for me to fulfill my duties effectively. I want to be transparent with you all in our community. This decision hasn't come lightly. I've always taken immense pride in serving as a general since the rank's inception. Over the years, I've dedicated countless hours to our FC, striving to foster its growth and improvement. However, due to the ongoing work that communities and other real-life obligations I have, I find myself unable to devote the necessary attention to the FC. While I may be stepping down from my current position, please know that my commitment to the FC remains unwavering. I'll still be around as a legacy member within the FC, offering support in any way I can. Though I may not be as actively involved as before, I cherish the memories that we've created together. I want to express my gratitude to each and every one of you in our community for allowing me the privilege of serving as one of your generals. It's been an honor to be a part of this council and to contribute to our community's growth. While it's difficult to say what the future holds for now, I believe this decision is for the best. Thank you all for your understanding and support during this transition for me. Warm regards, Infinitum General Stefan von West." And that was a close to 5-year run as one of our right hands here, one of my right hands in the council on the Infinitum Generals team. Thank you, Stefan, for everything over the years. And we'll be glad to see you online as able. And, we hope out there that everything's okay for you. And thank you for the years that you have been so helpful and active with Azure. Now, one thing that our community should note is that we sometimes, when it's needed, we don't like to use the word demotion if it's not negative. Sometimes we have repositioning. So there are folks that may take breaks from council. Our generals and lieutenants are welcome to say, "Hey, I kind of need a little break from leadership. Can I go on council leave or maybe just step down to legacy for a while?" That's always fine, which also means reinstatement is possible. So it's okay for leaders in our community to take small breaks from leadership and stuff like that. We just want to make sure that going forward, we don't have leaders that will be kind of disengaged or inactive for long periods of time. So in the future, you may see people that will come into the council that go on a little bit of a break or show up on council leave, or might just be repositioned. Doesn't always mean there's a demotion, which also means even General Stefan can make a comeback anytime. So we wish him the best with that and his future in Azure, and wanted to make sure that we took time to read that statement from him. It took a lot for him to come to that choice, that decision. All right, look at that. We've got more seats filled. Woo! Okay, now in celebration of this momentous occasion, I'm going to hop back out of my seat here. We are going to turn up the volume on our raffles and raffle off some more celebratory items. Rakvasha, can you join me up front for the raffles? After this, we'll move on to most of our remaining topics, and we do still have a couple more raffles even after this. So, ooh, I like the wings. All right, if you'd like to enter and you're on Twitch and or here in game, if you're on Twitch, put a 3-digit number in. If you are here in game, please /random. We'll be randoming here soon to give the number closest to mine will win. Give my number, and the number closest to mine will win. We got some big stuff. It's actually going to get even bigger. Thank you. All right, I see the numbers coming in.
We should just go back to the SC house now.
Yep. If you're listening and you're out there, out and about, you might want to come back and raffle. There's some pretty big stuff coming up.
That's a typical statement from our map nights. Come on, guys.
All right. And I'm going to announce time here in just a second. Also, just to keep in mind, towards the end here, we'll also be doing what we call our Q&A, which will allow members that are in our stage channel to use the little hand raise thing, and we'll give them a chance to come on stage and ask a question. You can also type your questions, and you can also type them in the stage channel or on Twitch as well for those here on Twitch. Just keep in mind, if you're watching in the future, when we upload this as an assembly cast, that Q&A will be closed at that point. Okay, I'm going to show the next number here. 108. Wow, I'm rolling low today. 108. We've got a 100. We've got a 100. That's really close. Anybody in the 90s?
112.
No. We are looking at
Jadan is at 112.
Ooh, yeah, that's 4 away. You're right. You're right. Jaden. All right, Jaden, congratulations. You have won an exciting tonic. Now, if you don't know what that is something you need 3 of, and you can get the very, very expensive, what is like 20 million gil mount that's from Maps. And if you already have it, those alone are worth a few mil. There's some big prizes coming up. Let's do it again. Let's get more numbers. Go, go, go. Roll those numbers. Roll those dice. What's next in the prize pool? It's a mystery. We're not even halfway through our list yet. All right, there's some numbers. There's some numbers. And let's see, you got eyes on Twitch. Let's see here. Okay.
Yeah, those are still up there, about 5 million.
Oh, they're 5 million
on
a
our
tonic?
server. Yeah.
A tonic, yeah.
That was a 5 million gil prize there that you got, Jaden. All right, I'm going to call time. Going a little faster based on the fact that everybody here is getting their rolls out real fast. Boom, 555. Who's close to 555?
Phoenix. 560.
Does look like Phoenix, yep. Come on up. Phoenix gets 2 pots of general purpose pure white dye. It's pretty elusive, expensive dye. All right, and the next raffle. Let's go. Keep those numbers coming. Who's gonna win? Who's gonna win? Got more winners ahead. Oh my! Look at that. Oh man, that's a doozy.
Yeah, I got boxed in. Darn it.
All right, and like I said, if you've entered before, you can enter again. Time. Whoever's closest to 654. 654. 654.
Looks like it might be Phoenix again. 618.
Let's see.
Oh.
Lion Lily.
Lion, yeah, Lion Lily.
Nope, it looks like Lion. Yep.
Yep.
Wow. Very, very lucky. Come on up, Lion. Let me see here. 1 second.
Oh, wait. 654. Let's see. Lion Lily 665.
Well,
Oh, you were one off, Vesh. You were one.
Vesh was one off.
So,
yeah,
yeah, you got beat by 1 point there, Vesh.
it is Lion. Yeah. All right, Lion gets a Chocobo pajama set. Look at that. That's our next prize. Congratulations. Those are super nice. Come from Map Rewards. Specially crafted. Let's go ahead and do one more before we move on. One more big raffle. And there is more ahead, trust me. There is more ahead. Got some nice stuff here. Yep, that last one was one off. What are the chances of that? Alright, numbers are coming in. Looks good. Yeah, Major will also be putting a copy of what he wrote to in Discord.
Yeah. Well,
it'll be an announcement.
Yeah, he was going to post it.
Oh, he was going to post it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool beans. All right.
I was going to DM him after and let him know.
Make sure if you'd
okay.
like to post on Twitch, or if you haven't /random yet, do so now. So we've got a big finale after the next set of announcements. So even more winners. This may be the biggest prize pool we've ever brought to an assembly. All right.
It's about the size of a prize pool for one of our Azure events.
It's like a day 1 of Azure Day or something. Prize pool. Yeah, Azure Days are pretty big. We had our big 9th anniversary Azure Day celebration back in November, and our next big gathering is going to be Summerfest in August. We save up a lot for those, like 200 something plus prizes and millions of gil. So, with the resource things we were talking about earlier, it's going to be even bigger. I rolled a
Looks like
D3
Hero.
Did Hero take it? Let's see.
I think 781's closest.
Yep. Yeah, looks like it. Congrats, Hero. Where you at? Hey, there we go. Alright, congrats on your Diamond Barding. Diamond Weapon Chocobo Barding. Congratulations. Alright. Stay tuned. We got another chunk of raffles after the next set of announcements. Okay. Quite an assembly so far. A historic one, no doubt. We talked earlier a bit about our Ascension project. I kind of included some of those topics in the FC Needs Plans and State of Azure talk, so there's not too much more to talk about that other than the fact that we do want to build up our scout ranks. We're continuing to build the council, as you guys see during this assembly here. And we are going forward full steam ahead to Dawn Trail with recruitment, resources, all the important stuff it takes to build a community, but also working on the next line in our topics there, the Azure Wings and the current statuses and needs of those. Now, I know that if you're one of those who only likes to play one MMO, you're not really big on the other games that we support. Totally fine. We don't expect that of everybody. But we do have a number of people that do enjoy playing multiple games that we support, or maybe casually on a couple and more hardcore here, whichever. But we do provide groups in those other games. We've talked a lot about those in other assemblies about how the goal is to stay casual with those, because this is our crown gem here. Like, this is the main place. But if you're also watching in our community from one of those other guilds, just know that we haven't forgotten about them. We just got a lot of work going on across the board. So the goal is to not take away from either side, but mostly not take away from 14. We want to make sure our members here understand that we're never going to lack here because we're putting too much in elsewhere. But we do have a couple really special announcements concerning a couple of our other games, like SOTOR, Star Wars The Old Republic, which some might go, that's kind of an old game now, isn't it? Well, yes, but it's recently been sold to a company that's looking to do a lot with it. They've even got an expansion, an update, and a lot more on the way. And recently, they've been knocking it out of the park. Content creators and a list of other people have really, kind of started to support this thing. And we have too. In fact, a number of our few of our leadership and scouts and some other folks have gotten involved recently to help the guild over in Star Wars: The Old Republic not only obtain our guild bank and found the guild over there, but we just recently landed our flagship, which is a pretty big thing. It costs a good 8 million galactic credits on top of the 600 to get the guild bank. There is a new rule that the game itself has put into place where you can't access the guild bank for 16 days, and we can't change that. Or something 16 or 18 or something like that. But other than that, that is underway. So it's already been a number of days so far since we got the flagship in the bank. And anybody that might be interested in just casually, hanging out in SOTOR or helping us build that up, all you got to do is ask for an invite, let us know your in-game character name, and when you're online, you can post in the SOTOR chat in our Discord, or DM myself or any scout or general that might be over there, which I think right now is Vesh and Major. And we can get you in. Right now, we splurged a little bit and used 1 million galactic credits to get the month-long EXP buff that's running over there. So it's also a good time to start if you're like brand new to the server or want to make a new character. SOTOR is also a game that highly promotes alts, because the more characters that you create, the more class skills can carry over to your main. It's really neat. Imagine in Final Fantasy XIV if you had an alt, but all of its skills at a certain point, once you got to like getting your job stone or something, because that's kind of all you have to do in SOTOR is get to the class through the class quest on a certain level. But imagine all of your, you get your job stone and all of it goes over to your main. That's kind of how it works in SOTOR. It's really neat. So we've got folks, leveling up, a lot of newbies over there. So it kind of feels like it's brand new, and everybody's kind of new together and enjoying this like new experience over in a galaxy far, far away. It might not be the most like newish MMO, but it doesn't look bad. It's received a lot of graphic updates recently. It doesn't use controller, and it's not on console. But for our PC players looking for a little fun side thing to do, especially before Dawn Trail while things are a little slow, it can kind of be kind of enjoyable, especially if you like the franchise. There's a lot of voice acting and some decent story once you get off your homeworld. Our guild is on the Republic side, so keep that in mind. The game is split between Sith and Republic. So even though you can, join us, the factions sometimes matter in certain things. So we're mostly, we're looking at Republic. It's not worth it's not worth it for us right now to try and run two sides of the guild, like for Sith as well right now, because like I said, we're just tiptoeing into this thing. It's for fun. It's not going to be insanely serious. But you never know if we get a maxed out roster over there, because recruitment is super easy in that place, especially with the amount of alts that people make that want AXP buffs. So now that we got the flagship and the month-long buffs going, there's a lot of newbies that are joining us to level up. We've also got Guild Wars recruitment, which some of you might have seen in announcements. Was announced a while back. That has gone very slow, given the fact that Guild Wars is a difficult game to recruit in. It does not have player searches or online databases like 14 does. It kind of requires you to sit in what their equivalent of Party Finder is in order to find people and hope they pop in, unless you chase somebody down in the overworld, which can be kind of creepy. So we're not really sure how far we're going to take that yet, but we have a few people within the community that are kind of interested in it. So it's like, it's there, but we just got word that Guild Wars 3 was potentially in development. So we don't want to abandon that now that we've got it going, but it's there, and there's a number of people within our community that some of you might know that are over there too. So that's there. That is down the list on priorities though, because SOTOR and ESO and Destiny are our higher popularity wings right now. We do have an alliance registered in Phantasy Star Online 2, New Genesis, which can be a pretty fun, casual experience if you're looking for something to kind of download on your console or your computer. Pop in with the controller or mouse and keyboard and just kind of go to town on some aliens and pop into the Azure Alliance. Guild Wars and what is another one? Guild Wars and ESO are actually multi-guild games. So with ESO, you can actually join another guild while else, if you want something that's a lot of activity or more raid focused or something, but you also want to be part of Azure, you can actually do that in those games. Guild Wars has you set something as your representing guild, and ESO is like you can have up to 8 going at one time. So we've done a lot of work on the ESO Guild, both on PlayStation and PC. PC is the one I think we're a little bit more serious about because Major and I have done a lot of work there, and we've got like at least some active players and a few veterans that are playing pretty regularly on PC. Over on PlayStation, we just haven't rolled out everything yet, but we do have a guild hall established. We do have some facilities, and Infinitum Hall in PC is in the Daggerfall region. It's pretty nice. We also have the Infinitum Hall that's in that's that weird Sigic dimension that's on PlayStation, but it's pretty cool. It's like this gigantic cathedral thing that's super awesome. It's massive. It's a humongous area. But it would be really nice to see more people from our community engage in these different worlds as we're exploring. For those that are interested and might want to try out something else that Azure's involved in the meantime. I see that Lord of the Rings reference in chat there for for Lord of the Rings Online, which I know there are a couple people in our community that play. There are those fellowships that are in Lord of the Rings, which, believe it or not, is actually a pretty good MMO despite its age, and it's not terrible. 11's a bit of an undertaking. We are kind of already had that with Somnus Infinitum, which is kind of partially how we got here, but we're not going to bite off too much so we can chew just yet. Just keeping track of what we've got already, is enough. But our status right now in those worlds, which is kind of fun to think of in Azure lore as kind of being this interdimensional community exploration, is that over in Tamriel on PC, ESO PC and ESO PlayStation, those are at least established, with PC ESO being a little further along. Phantasy Star is basically brand new, and Guild Wars 2 is almost brand new, and SOTOR is actually making a lot of progress. So they're coming up a bit in their statuses versus just all being freshly established. So they're starting to move forward a lot more now. But like I said, we would love to see more people popping in and joining us over there. We've got channels established in Discord to support chats and resources in all of those things. There's a couple forums down the list for getting started in ESO, some guides, getting started in Guild Wars if anyone's interested. But just remember to take things casually and not expect like a super active community environment in those, because they are very, very early access in our what we consider early access for those games. Not the game's early access, but our Azure Wing early access, getting that going. So those are out there and those are alive and slowly building. But it was really cool to see people coming together in SOTOR recently. Which is actually the one that I thought was going to take longer, and now it's almost equivalent to where we're at in PC ESO. It's actually an established guild now, so there's a good 40 people over there that are pretty active, and there's some newbies too. So it's pretty fun to see that. Kind of makes the game feel really fresh again. Other than that, like I said, needs over there. Well, our ranks are universal. Isn't that interesting? Azure now spreading out across the cosmos and time and space to these different yeah, what Arya said. Our explorations, over the years into these other dimensions. Ranks being universal will mean that if you're a scout there or a member there, you'll be, here, same way, back and forth, vice versa. Keeps everything universal. Our rules page is also universal. And we'll see how that goes. We'll see how that goes over time. No, we don't intend on abandoning them just because Dawntrail comes out. So this isn't just like it's something to do until Dawntrail. Well, we don't want to abandon them. ESO's got Gold Road coming out. Destiny 2's got the Final Shape coming out. Our Destiny 2 clan, I actually forgot to mention that, is also doing pretty well. We maxed out our clan rank recently. That was a big achievement. And the fact that we've got a lot of people who got through Guardian Games, which is a pretty big 3-week event that happened recently. Some of us got through to the gold medal stage and earned a lot of resources and points for the clan. It was really awesome. We've gotten some good clears over there and some good Gambit Knights and Crucible Knights over there with the Azure Wardens. But we are always recruiting over there too, because it's going to be time to face the Witness pretty soon in the final battle for Earth. and the solar system coming this this July or June. I think it's June. I think could be wrong, but it's gonna be very close to Dawn Trail. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on across our community, and of course, we actually post daily updates on all 6 of these games, including 14, on our social media every day. There's almost 100 Azure posts going out on social media every day, including community content. Your screenshots featured from our Discord show up over there on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook pages, everything, including these game announcements and also tips and sometimes extra content as well being posted. We're also doing YouTube posts as well, not just videos. So there'll be posts on YouTube as well. If you subscribe, you might see us in your feed with these updates as well. So we're also starting to do reels and everything else. So we're trying to cover all this across the board as often as possible. So there's some days where it can take some time. So we are also looking for content volunteers who may want to take some of this news or their own or news from our community and put it into a blog post form that will go on our main AzureNet website. So if you're interested in writing content, even if it's like a paragraph and a screenshot to go on AzureNet, let us know. Let us know. It's very easy to be an author on there. We call it an author for writing the posts. If you want to be an admin on any of our social media pages, also let us know, because we could use all the help we can get. Just being straightforward with you guys. Now, outside of wings and social media and those things, we did talk about the content drought that is currently going. Well, what are some good suggestions? And I would like to hear from all of you as well. If you guys have suggestions for things to work on, please post them. Post them in stream chat, post them in assembly chat, post them in FC chat. What are things that you guys like to work on during a slow point in the game? I see glams. Work on your glams. That's what Rockfasha said. And if you're here on the stage in the council, feel free to chime in. Doesn't just have to be me talking about the subject.
I was seeing somebody bring up democracy.
Oh yes, Azure Helldivers. Yep. We need some Azure Helldivers nights too. Community game nights for Super Earth. Leveling alt jobs from Karen. Yes, leveling alt jobs. A cool parade. Well, we'll have one of those coming up in the summer. Maybe before then. And as a new hero says, as a new player, I spent a lot of time doing jobs alone. It's great to help those who need it. Yes, definitely help each other get jobs up. The more of us that are leveled and ready to plow into that Dawn Trail content and raids, the better. Catching up on missing content, said Avalon. Exactly. If you've got content you haven't done, I'm behind on Hildebrand, or I'm behind on these raids, or I never did those 8-mans from Heavensward. Might be a good time. Might be a good time to do that.
Yeah, don't hesitate to ask, in FC chat if anyone needs help or wants to hang out.
Definitely.
Do clear.
100%. Well, these are all great ideas. Let's see. Over in... Yep, I see Vesh shouting for democracy. Azure Helldivers.
To touch on one thing people can do while they're in this little bit of drought, test out some new classes. Test out some crafting, some gathering. Test out all the things that you may not have had time to do in the past because you were working on your MSQ or leveling your combat classes. Get into crafting. See how you like it. Test the waters. Try a few recipes. Ask around for some advice and get into that whole genre of the game, because as we move into Dawn Trail, crafting is going to be very, very large moving into the next expansion.
Just to answer Jace really quick, yes, it is crossplay.
That's a good recommendation, actually, because when Dawn Trail launches,
Crafting,
it's going to be paramount for making money.
Also, there's the Splendorous Tools going on right now. That's a nice little grind. It's not too terrible, but it's also something that does take a little bit of time, so it gives you something to do. Yeah, FC Jackbox. That has been actually recommended before. That's a great community game as well. We did announce community game nights. It's kind of been on the back burner because we have had a lot going on, and we kind of did a impromptu one with Azure Helldivers. We've got a video of that on YouTube. It's pretty hilarious. But we'd like to do more things like that. It also gives us something that our community itself can stream, and then put up, and save those memories as well on our YouTube, and then kind of show other people looking into Azure some of the extra fun we have outside of our normal games. I have heard it's a lot of fun. I actually haven't played Jackbox myself. We have had Cards Against Humanity nights in the past using online browser versions free. Those are kind of hilarious, especially in VC. See Aria talking about custom Halo game nights. Yep. There is a lot of possibilities. We also want our members to know that just because we have official weekly events doesn't mean that our members can't put stuff together themselves. If you've got something that you're like, hey, I would like to host a game night, or I'd like to host an in-game event of my own, go for it. We have LFG services available. We are kind of fine-tuning that LFG bot. We have the LFG channel in Discord, as well as just even 14 chat. It might help to make a forum post and then link to it, so there's like a page you can link to with what the actual event is that you're making. Don't forget that if you do sign up to our website, you've got to sign up to Guild Tag, the service that hosts it, as well as click Join Site. Member code is 1102 for instant access. That's our founding date, 1102. Definitely good to see people, getting involved and playing across the community. Because remember, we're more than an FC. There are people out there that wonder, like, wow, Azure Infinitum sure does a lot, but why so much for an FC? Because we're more than an FC. We're a global community, growing and investing into multiple games, having fun, anchored through Discord and our website. So it's great to see people suggesting multiple games, stuff to do outside of being a warrior of light or a Jedi. But yes, mainly talking about 14's content drought. All of these things are really, really, really good ideas. Getting your gathering up, because when we get into Dawn Trail, and you might actually be at a point in the game where you're like, oh man, Dawn Trail, like that's going to take me till the end of the year to get there because I just got into Heavensward. Well, you know what? That's okay too. But the content drought will still affect you, because even though you have a lot to do, there's going to be a slight hindrance to overall activity because it's a content drought. So just hang in there, look for things to do. If you need help, you are in a community where you can get help pretty easily. Anime club. That's something I haven't heard suggested before. Book club, where we talk about anime. Well, with the ability to kind of organize community nights, there is some things like that. I have heard of services that allow group watching. We have had movie night in the distant past. That was an interesting thing that we were able to pull off. And I mean, 20 Azure members in a room watching a funny movie is a good time. It's a good time for sure. Yeah, we do have the anime and manga channel. That is a channel in Discord. And we could start chats there. Like I said, don't be afraid to organize your own stuff. The only thing that we like to avoid is big member-run events that would clash with our normal weekly event times. But, besides that, maybe if you could work around those times, or maybe something that groups for something that's very different than what we're grouping for that day, and have it after or before the grouping for our main events would be appreciated. But other than that, our members do have the power to do that. Please do that, actually, because that would actually create more fun stuff for us to do together. And we never know what someone's idea might turn into a actual weekly event. Wondrous Wednesdays, I think it's an example of that, and even Monstrous Mondays has things like that have turned into weekly events. So there's some ideas. There's a lot more we could talk about on that subject, but that would massively increase the length of this assembly. So also, don't be afraid to ask for suggestions in our chats. Hey guys, what kind of things could I be doing right now? I've done a lot, but I'd like to know what else I could be doing for my experience before Dawn Trail. And like I said, if you're not even close to Dawn Trail, don't worry too much. But just keep plugging away. Don't worry about the FOMO. That can be very powerful. That can even cause people to skip cutscenes because they want to get up to the current. But trust me, it is very much worth and not just for story reasons, but it's very much worth it to take your own pace. If you're newer, please go your own pace. We don't want anybody to rush to think that they have to get into Azure events and they have to level up fast. Trust me, we're going to be doing, like I said earlier, we're going to be doing these raids for years. So the first FF11 raids that come out this year, that are in 14, and the Arcadian ones, trust me, there will be plenty of time ahead for you guys to get involved in any of those events. So don't rush thinking that you got to like skip stuff to catch up to Dawntrail. Please enjoy your journey. Your journey is you only experience it the first time once, and it can be very special by the time you get into later expansions. You'll be, oh, I remember when I did that the first time. It's so much more rewarding than, oh, I blew through it and don't even know what happened because I wanted to catch up to the FC. Don't ever let that be your reason. Enjoy your journey. Now, we do need to move on. So that's the drought discussion. The next 3 months, roughly until Dawntrail, definitely consider. I'm going to name a list of considerations. Job levels. Crafting and gathering, good idea. Splendorous tools, if you're caught up to that, that's not a bad idea. Just like with the relic, we start out with a relic weapon, and we don't have to upgrade right away because the relic weapon is going to be better than the first stuff we get our hands on in Dawntrail. So that's kind of the nice thing about the relic weapon outside of the story and achievement, is that we start the expansion with something nice. Same thing for crafting relics, for the Splendorous tools and the gathering relics, Splendorous tools. You're going to start out being able to gather and craft away without having to upgrade for a while. And it's nice looking too. There's also your jobs. Get your jobs up. Focus on side content. That's something that, when we get to Dawntrail, it's going to be like, oh, I don't even want to do that old side quest. This crusty old Beast Tribe quest. Like, I don't need that right now. But before Dawntrail, it's like, oh, that might be something that, you don't want to have to deal with later on. Get that out of the way. There's a lot of stuff like that to consider. The first 8 weeks of Dawntrail for Azure. Now, it is kind of far ahead. We mentioned that Summerfest and Arcadian raids and such like that. But I want everybody to realize that we will be bringing back a little bit more tight of a spoiler policy when we get there. So this is reassurance for people as well as it is a warning, because we will have a graphic that we display in Discord that will be reposted on a semi-regular basis by a bot that will remind everybody that we have a tighter spoiler policy during an expansion's first few weeks. And mainly what that is it entails our normal spoiler policy of shouting out character deaths. Oh my gosh, this person's back from the dead, like in the middle of FC chat. Bad news. That'll actually cause people to leave the FC. Don't do that. Talking about a certain character's arm being ripped off or something like that. Not saying there is one, but just saying, something like that. Or saying, this is the final boss. What we like to do is we like to use trial names, because trial names and area names can be seen by people doing player search or looking at the
Talking
FC
about
window.
Rika's Lalafell should be under that policy.
No, don't talk about my Lalafell. But seriously, it's very, very important to remember to use trial names, because there's a reason why. Some bosses are humongous spoilers if you say the boss name. Like, let's see, if you know Royal Menagerie, that boss is a final boss. That could be the one, not the Royal Menagerie itself, but the boss you fight in it, or the Dying Gasp. We don't like to say the name of that boss when that's when that was fresh. It's kind of harder now because it's way out there. But also, all you got to remember is main deaths, big story revelations that are obvious spoilers, people coming back from the dead or dying, and also we want to use trial names when we talk about stuff at least for the first little bit. And anything that is in Square Enix promotional material, we can't help that's being like broadcasted everywhere. So, for example, back during Shadowbringers, Titania, instead of saying the Dancing Plague for the trial name, Titania was not considered a spoiler by Azure because she was being advertised all throughout this Shadowbringers media that they were advertising. So even that when you go to download the game, fight Titania and Innocence. So because it says that, we can't call that a spoiler. So we agreed on all this a long time ago, that there would be kind of a precedent set for what is a spoiler and what's not. And if we have spoilers that are being kind of just carelessly posted, we will actually issue strikes for that. That is no joke. So don't be afraid to say, thinking that you can't talk about the expansion. Just make sure you're careful talking about deaths and boss names, stuff like that. It's very easy to avoid as long as you use trial names and don't talk about deaths. Pretty much, that's about it.
We do have a spoiler channel in Discord, so if
Yes,
you
we
need to
do.
talk about things, use
Yep.
that.
Please go to our spoiler chat if you want to talk about it, because it can be very hard to contain when you're really excited about something that just happened to the story and you got to talk about it with somebody. We have a chat for that, so go there and get that energy out over there. Because our like I said, you only experience your journey one time for the first time, and if it's ruined by a spoiler because somebody was like, yeah, we're about to go fight, insert here, and that's like the name of a very, very like amazing character that you wouldn't think you'd ever fight or something, that can really like ruin somebody's first time experience. And I know it's possible that anything can happen on the internet and you might see a tweet or something that'll ruin it instead, but we just want to avoid that and make sure that those who are within our community know that it's safely protected by a spoiler policy. So don't worry, it won't be hard to remember. It won't be super harsh or anything. There will be a graphic shared daily that'll remind everybody for the first few weeks. But we also want everybody to know that there is kind of a what we call a spoiler embargo that will be lifted. And Square Enix actually does that themselves. They'll make an announcement saying the spoiler embargo is up. And when they do that, we cannot help that, because people will see that and that'll give the players in our community, outside our community, everywhere, those players will just start thinking it's okay because Square Enix literally tells them the embargo is up. So all we can do is we can't really override that. We can't override what Square Enix says, and so it's like if they say the spoiler embargo is up, the spoiler embargo is up. But we'll still do our best to ask that there's no, humongous spoilers being posted. So just do your best, and when we get to that point. I'm just letting everybody know ahead of time. We'll mention it again probably at the next assembly too, leading up to Dawn Trail, so there's plenty of awareness, including announcements in the future. But those first 8 weeks will have spoiler policy reminders. It'll be extremely active here. There's going to be a lot of excitement. We've seen folks that we've never had an issue with before get too excited and argue in chat and stuff like that. And we don't want that either. So we want everybody to be prepared for a fun experience. Remember to behave and know our charter. Remember, the second chapter of our charter is our guidelines. The rest is additional information, but our guidelines, the main thing you got to know is chapter 2, and just be kind to each other and be mindful of what we're chatting about. And don't forget, spoiler chats do exist. Going forward in Dawn Trail, in that first 8 weeks, will 100% be the return of the Arcadian raids, as I mentioned earlier. And plans for Summerfest will begin building after we get caught up in MSQ. So we're looking to start building plans for Summerfest, Azure Summerfest in July, probably mid to late July, in preparation for late August. Because like I said, those 3 days in August are going to be humongous. Some people have asked why we haven't done an Azure Day yet this year, and that is also because we were more focused on the Ascension project. So there is only so many of us in leadership and in the upper ranks, and we want to make sure that the focus is going to the most important places. So if we had skipped what would normally be the first quarter Azure Day event, which is a normal Azure Day, not a seasonal or a special event like Summerfest, or sorry, they're all special events, but I mean they're not a summer festival or a anniversary Azure Day, just a regular Azure Day. We put that on the back burner so that we could put a lot more into Ascension, because we only have so much time before Dawn Trail. Then we've got this awesome expansion followed by raids coming back and Summerfest and all that. So that's kind of why this year took a little bit of a different roadmap than what's ahead. And speaking of that roadmap, the last on my announcement list here is coming soon. There is a Q2 and Q3 roadmap, which is sort of a graphic that I'll design that's going to be posted, so that way the whole community has a visual of most of the big like bullet points of what's coming to Azure and what our plans are, that we can all reference. That'll be on the site. It'll be announced on Discord, and it'll kind of show here's everything in FC, everything that is a plan for wings. It's all going to be on what we call the Azure Q2 and Q3 roadmap. and that'll be like I said, it'll be a graphic that'll be announced and posted online. So we all have a reference too. And then, like I said earlier, the FC needs list is something we would like to post. Majors brought up to me before about us having what we call a job board, which, like I said, we don't like to use the word job because it is a volunteer thing. But job board would basically be, here's a bunch of gathering needs or recruitment needs or whatever needs, and people that would want to say like, I'm bored, I want to help out with the community, whether they're ranked or not, actually can actually go to the job board and see, oh, we need 25 of these rocks that I can get from Thanalan. Cool, that's a job. And then we also would like to have rewards match those jobs on the job board. So think of a big Azure quest board that we can post that'll actually have rewards for our members with them actually helping the FC at the same time. And this could also be multi-wing as well. So exciting. Now we're going to do Q&A next. We would like to ask that those on Twitch that want to ask questions, go ahead and post their questions. They'll be read live, as well as the stage channel. You can do the request to speak thing and just leave it up, and we'll pull one up at a time. And before we do that, we're going to have a raffle off finale. So that means the rest of our planned raffle items, including the game code that we have for the finale, will begin right away. So hold those questions for Q&A, and go ahead and /random if you'd like to enter, or post a 3-digit number in Twitch. Awesome, lots of numbers coming in. Woo! Look at these prizes. Wow. Ooh, that next one. Whew. I think you had it. It has number 9. Yeah, there we go.
Yep, I was getting a link for it.
Oh, okay. Cool. All right. I'm going to give you guys a hint. This next one is a mount.
Again, we're talking about your Lalafell, aren't we?
No mounting my Lalafell.
I just picture your Lalafell's covered head to toe in ranch.
No, she's so small. She's so small she can't carry anybody. She might be able to carry Cecily.
You're gonna make Emma cry.
No.
She was pretty cute.
Oh man, she's a very cute Lalafell. But so is Emma. I think Emma might be a cuter Lalafell though.
Yeah.
Time. All right. 642. Oh my gosh. Look at that. 647 from Noct. Wow, that's really close. I think that's it. There's nobody closer than that. There's no 630s, right? No. All right. Congratulations, Noct. Noct wins a Gabriel Alpha identification key. Straight from the battlegrounds of Bosnia. All right, and it's time for the next one. Raffle number 10. This one features a special prize coming from Stormblood. But what is it? Those watching the stream might have spoilers. On not story spoilers, but item spoilers. Numbers are rolling in here. Remember, and don't forget, remember you can enter again. You can. Do we have a 1? Lion rolled a 1. Oh man.
Isn't that an auto win?
It's not an auto win.
1 gil win.
Unless I roll a 0. If I roll a 0, then that'll be a win. Or a 2. Or if no other numbers are close. Because it's possible to roll 0. It's not possible to roll 1,000. It stops at 999, but it is possible to roll a 0. We've seen it. We've seen it a couple times in Azure history. All right. Time it is. Let's see, and make sure we got eyes on Twitch chat here too. Okay, Vesh is sticking with his number, I think. All right, 176, still kind of low. Phoenix is very close. I think
Phoenix is the one. I think. Yep.
Yep. Congrats, Phoenix. All right, Phoenix gets a Shinryu barding. Shinryu. All right. Raffle number 11. Go ahead and post those numbers. And keep in mind, this is a very, very special prize pool.
Oh, who rolled a Fortnite? Angry? You got to re-roll.
If someone has a same number, but the second one that comes after, we just ask that they re-roll. And don't despair, we've got a few more. I would like to thank new members of our Azure Council who provided these prizes. Unless I'm forgetting anybody else. These were specially gathered to celebrate the commencements of the third Azure Council and this assembly. All right, I'm gonna call time. My number is, wow, oh my goodness.
Vesh. There you go.
That's gonna be Vesh. Yep, that's immediately Vesh.
Mark the beast.
He's been choosing that number every single time. Oh goodness, that might be the first time I've ever rolled that in history. Let's see, is Vesh in game, or do we need to save it for when he is?
He'll get it next time he logs in.
Okay.
So you can mail it to him if you want.
All right.
If you want, I can mail it to him. He's on my friends list.
Okay, I'll hand it to you, Defensor, and you can go mail it. Vesh wins a Construct 14 identification key. Very, very nice. Congrats, Vesh. That was on the list for number 11. Now, number 12. Roll, roll, roll. Post those numbers. We've got about 5 more prizes. So still a chance to win big. And some of these are pretty big. Rake is getting excited here.
That's what she said.
Oh my gosh, you were so fast on that. He's got a stream deck set up with buttons he can press just for those occasions.
Probably his first button.
Probably, yeah.
Did my horse just poop?
Oh my goodness. Okay.
That's his second button.
It's time. Number is 922. 922. Who's closest to 922? 922. We got an upper 700s.
Phoenix at 750. Nope.
776 is
7 is at 776, yeah.
That's
the
going to be
highest
the
one.
closest one of our current numbers, I believe. Nothing new
Yep.
on Twitch. Nope, nothing new on Twitch. All right. Congratulations, 7. 7 wins our next exciting tonic. That's that 5 million gil item that you can also save 3 of for the big pink elephant. Congratulations. Raffle number 13. Roll those numbers. Roll those numbers. They're about to heat up even more as we get to the final numbers coming up. Woo! So exciting with these huge prizes. All right, make sure you got your numbers in. If you're watching on Twitch, post a 3-digit number. I'll expand it there for those that can see the numbers. And That way you don't post the same one.
Nocti, you'll need to. Let's see. Hold on.
Hope everybody's having a good time at our assembly and enjoys the announcements and the prizes.
Yep, you'll have to re-roll.
Did we have we had a double number?
Yep.
Okay, cool. All right, I'm gonna call time. He
got it in
re-rolled.
time.
Yeah, he got it in time. 16! Holy good.
Oh
holy
my.
crap. My goodness.
That would be
Jaden, I think. he's the
Etovian.
lowest.
Is that how you say it?
Who?
Etovian?
Etovane. Congrats, Kronos.
Oh, 67. I didn't see that one. Very nice. Very, very nice. Congratulations.
It will take me a minute to get that name right.
Diamond Barding. I've been saying Etoivane. All right, cool. Very awesome. Very awesome. That's a great piece too. We had another one earlier on too. Okay, getting big now. Last 3 raffles. Number 14. Number 14. Did I? I said it right. Etoivane. Nice. All right, we got a big one coming up, and this one is a mount. This is a mount, and it's a big one. It's a doozy.
That's what she said.
Oh boy, get those numbers in. Big mount.
Holy moly.
Your
70, 71,
your name
75.
in 12 that actually fits your elf, your Elizin, because the Elizin names, specifically the Ishgardian ones too. They've got names. Yeah, and your last name too. Hanrio. Is it Hanrio? Hanria? Anrio. Etoivane Anrio. Is that how you say it? I feel like that's it. You know, one that Henri Rowe. Okay. Henri Rowe. Okay. Yeah, we have a guy, one of our scouts. His name is Guiano, and Onryo. I got it. Onryu? Is it U or O? U? Onryu?
Meanwhile, we're all sitting here waiting for that beautiful
Time.
random.
Yep. Well, this is a very big mount, so
This is a big one, yeah.
yeah, I wanted to give a little extra time just in case too. Okay, here's the number. 29! 29! So low. Goodness.
Anika.
Ooh, Vanika is at 70. One away from Phoenix at 71 and Jaden at 75. Wow. So close. Congrats, Vanika. Congrats. And Vanika, ooh, very nice Sage Relic too. Faith and Horn. That is the red Ixion that comes from Map Knights. It takes 3 burning horns. You got to get very lucky to get them out. Just like those exciting tonics takes 3 of those. You got a Faith in. Very nice, very nice. Very, very rare, very special. We see those drop about every 2 or 3 Treasure Thursdays and Friday Night Treasure Fights. All right, it's time for the last in-game item before we do the game code. This one is I believe it's the biggest in-game item of the night, and one of the biggest ones we've raffled off in a very long time. And it is also a mount. It is a mount. Very, very big mount. A very legendary mount that is very seldom shows up in raffles.
It's a zoo horn, isn't it?
I see your comment, Vesh. No, it's a lot bigger than a zoo horn.
Zoo!
Look like crap, actually. This is very, very, very big.
It's a big zoo horn.
And if you're thinking about selling it, it's up to you, but I would recommend using it because it's not every day that you can get your hands on one of these. They're very special. Very, very special. We're going to give it an extra minute just in case there's even just one person that might not have rolled. It's a good chance to get a chance to win
Are
this.
you trying to give away your Lalafell?
No, I am not giving away my Lalafell.
The perfect mount.
I really want to level her a bit just because
Phoenix
so
needs to
cute and
re-roll.
small.
Yes, Defensor.
Please reroll Phoenix.
Also, yeah, Phoenix reroll.
Oh shoot, did we get their ranks on Discord?
Yeah, I've already
Okay.
handled all of that.
Okay, thank you. I haven't looked at all because I've been focusing on the assembly and I did the
Oh,
Indian
yeah.
ones.
You did. Yeah, sorry, Phoenix.
Okay, just want to
Oh,
make sure.
yeah, you did. My bad.
Oh
Yeah, he rerolled immediately.
Oh,
yeah.
okay, good. Thank you.
Go Phoenix, do it again.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
And it's coming up, the grand finale. What's it gonna be? Drum roll. 287. Ooh,
Arya.
Antoine Vane is very close.
266.
Arya's at 266. Okay, that's super close. Any lower 300s? No. Looks like it's gonna be Arya. Unless I'm not seeing it. Looks like Arya. Alright. Congrats, Arya. Arya gets a legendary Night Pegasus whistle.
I don't even know what the heck that is.
It's a glowing black and red Pegasus. That's pretty cool.
It's from House of the Dead, and it sucks the fun.
Very, very, very rough mount to get.
And it's about 12 million gil.
12 million gil. Congratulations. All right, now before we move on to Q&A, we have a game code for a game called Symphony of War. This is a game that is very similar to classic Fire Emblem in game style. It's an SRPG. You can add it to your collection on Steam, or you can give it away to a friend. But we will be raffling that off as our finale raffle following the Night Pegasus. If you'd like to enter to win the game, it'll be the code will be given to you if you win afterwards. It's for Steam. Please roll now if you'd like to enter.
I have the game, and it's very fun.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Like I said, it's very similar to Fire Emblem and Langrisser.
I don't even know what it is.
Symphony of War. There's some screenshots and announcements on Discord. It's a kind of a 2D grid tactics game. So if you like
Oh,
Final
is that
Fantasy
the one you've been
Tactics
streaming,
or-
Defensor?
No. I beat it a while ago and I played it since. If you've played Ogre Tactics, it's kind of like that. It's a squad-based tactic.
Tactics Ogre,
I've not
Final
played
Fantasy Tactics, Fire Emblem, those type of games. Advance Wars. You're on a grid and your units fight another unit. It goes into a little cutscene of them fighting, and this one's kind of like that. So very similar. Let's see. Any new ones over on Twitch? No.
Bash roll is 666.
Uh-huh. Okay, then it's time. All right. Who is going to venture into winning Symphony of War tonight? 223.
Avalon looks like is the
223.
closest.
Avalon is very close.
Ooh, Let's
Yep.
see. Yep, that's closer than
it's Avalon.
404.
All right, congrats, Evelyn. I'll be sending you the game code right away. Game key, I should say. All you got to do is go on Steam's key thing and just enter it, and it'll add it to your library. It's a pretty cool little game. Let's see. I know I have you here on my list. Let me see. I think I do. I know I do. Let me scroll down. Nope. Let me see here. One moment. There you were. Okay. Message.
You might not want to do that on stream.
It's not in the chat box on there. It's in Discord.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. If you have any problems with the code, just let me know. It shouldn't be. It's like freshly generated today, so. All right. Now, following that, we will be doing what we call Q&A. These are questions and answer rounds for those that might want to ask about anything that we've talked about at the assembly today, or if you have any proposals, ideas, comments, feedback, suggestions for the council and I, now is the time. If you would not like to do it live, you can always message us privately. And you can also type your question in chat, or you can raise your hand to talk in the stage channel here, and we'll invite you up to the stage to chat. So if anybody has anything they would like to come forward and stand at the podium in game, if you have if you're logged in and have a question, or if you're in a state, we see Karen is the first one. All right, come on up, Karen. Welcome to the stage, Karen. You can go ahead and use the podium too in game, just for fun.
Not really a question,
Sure.
but I said it in chat, but you're kind of moving on. I have a Plex server that I built, and like for some reason remote access isn't working, so I can't really give access to anyone. But if we wanted to do like a watch party or anything, I'm down. I can like get pretty much anything as long as it's out, you know.
Like using a stream service, or
yeah. Well, let's just we
want to make sure it's legal enough to.
Yeah, it's legal.
Yeah, we're streaming right now. We don't want to really be talking about illegal activities now, do we?
Yeah.
I'm just saying we want to make sure it's legal, so.
Yeah, but like I can put it on my server and then stream it on Discord, and I've got a pretty decent internet connection. It's stable at least.
Okay. I know there is a lot of services and some ways of doing things like that that work out really well, that are good, and legal ways to watch and group watch parties type stuff recently. In the past, it was a little harder to find, but yeah, if we kind of work that out sometime, and then kind of figure out where to host that, how to do it, and if you'd like to help host that too, that would be really, really appreciated.
Yeah, no problem.
Sweet, good to know.
I just thought of it because someone mentioned anime, and I was like, oh yeah.
True, yeah.
Watch parties. But yeah, that was it. Thank you.
Okay. Yep, no problem. Let's see here. Where was that, Major, that you just mentioned?
Oh, that's something I was DMing you something to talk about later.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Do we have any other comments, suggestions, feedback, questions? Anybody that wants to join the stage channel? There's a request to join stage option in Discord, as well as in game. You can post in our chat. Let's see here. Make sure we don't miss anything in chat. And see Twitch chat. Just check it over there too. Oh no. Oh, Vesh is asking to speak. Come on up, Vesh.
Okay.
Hey, Vesh.
Two quick things. First, just something I thought of earlier. You guys are wondering, like you said, you don't want to call it a job board, just call it a task board. Doesn't have the same connotation, gets the same message across.
Sure.
The other thing is for the new council members. Now that you're on the inside, could you please tell us what Rika's obsession with ranch is, like where it came from? I want to hear from the new council members on this because they've got to have an answer now.
We don't know, honestly.
I said the new council members, the ones that aren't tainted by Rika's ranchy influence yet.
I've known Reka for many, many years, and that is still a mystery to me.
Going on 10 years now.
Yep.
He keeps popping out as Lalafell. That's probably where it comes from.
Well, I did tell you guys I was going to, pull out my Lalafell and show you, and I did. Right before Mountathon. You guys get to see it. And I put it back.
that was all.
Thanks. All right, Vesh. Thank you. Anybody else? Ideas, proposals, feedback, comments, anything we've talked about today, questions on those things. We talked about a lot about events and recruiting, scouts, things that we're working on for Azure, upcoming content, looking for additional creators, streamers, writers, support members, task board, Dawn Trail going forward. Alrighty. Let's see, Arya had a comment, okay. Just very personal feedback. He said, so Saturday timed events. Well, we do have Mountathon earlier in the day on the first and third Saturdays, but we don't have anything on the first and third Saturdays night yet. Same goes for the second and fourth Saturdays. Fate Farmers takes place earlier in the day as well. Keep in mind too that we have been working with a slightly smaller duty roster list of people. Logistics team, I should say. I'm getting kind of tired now. Logistics team is everybody that's on the duty roster from Scout Captain up, or Sergeant up, I should say. So we have had a smaller number of people available. We need more people available. So if more people becoming scouts and scout sergeants becoming scout captains will help us create more availability to have more events and at more times as well. And that's what we're working on. So at least you can rest assured knowing that probably by maybe the third quarter of the year, going past Dawn Trail and into the end of the year, we're going to see a very different logistics team. It's going to be a lot bigger and more well-rounded. So, folks like you, Arya, who, might be seeking more Azure activity at times that work better for you in the evenings of those days that we have stuff earlier, can at least rest assured knowing that we're going to be more well-rounded and keeping that in mind too. Because that's a big thing. I think we're always kind of, as a team, we're kind of like seeking is to find, what do people want and how can we best, adjust to create that. So we do get feedback a lot about event times. And like I said earlier, at the start of the assembly, it is definitely, like something where we can only fit a certain percentage of who's available to host and who's available to attend. Most of the times that are chosen are like middle grounds between prime times of different time zones in the West. Vanika's asking, can we do multiple events instead? Like we have one weekly, or have our weekly ones, but with the surge of new sprouts, we can do extensions. Okay, an example she posted. I know we had a trilogy, but we had a bunch of new sprouts that couldn't do it, so why not do the earlier raids? Yeah. Assisting sprouts to reach endgame is great for the FC overall. So with event ideas, this can become a huge topic. First of all, there will always be new recruits. So we could really go hard and get all the current new recruits, all of these unlocks and stuff, and we'll have another wave of them. But just like the reasons why we do bi-weekly stuff is because finite needs will eventually be met, and then there will be like small attendances, and then we'll have hosts that will host with only a couple people. And while that is worth it to do it for a couple people, these are also things that can be done outside of events as well, which is also why we need a stronger support team who can say like, hey, this person could really use a run through this if anybody else is available to take them, or multiple scouts that might be able to run people through a few things and get that done, so we don't have an event scheduled over it, because there is a lot of effort that goes into the scheduling, the advertising, the hosting, all that combined, where there should also be kind of a regular flow of people just helping each other anyway. So we want to make sure, not saying we can't do that. That is a good idea to do older raids. We used to do Old Raid October. That was a thing we used to do where we'd spend multiple days a week in October every year, going through each week of the month. We would do like a different set of raids and try to just wipe out everybody's clear needs. We have done that before in the past. The last time we did that, hardly anybody showed because of how easy it is to just run through the old content. Most of what we focus our event time for, because like I said, a lot goes into them, is the most common widespread needs, as like weekly coins, weekly raid clears, mount farms that are spread out over bi-weekly events, stuff like that. So not knowing how many has those raids or not, or how many might want to do it at an event, or how might actually be available at the time an event is posted, it kind of gets a little hard to target. And even if it's just a few, like I said, it's worth doing for a few, but we also have to consider the time of our logistics team as well, and putting that together as an event can kind of be hard. It sounds easy to do as a blanket, but even if we do land it at a time that we're available to host something like that, might not be available for the people who need it too, at the right time. So it could be a little hard. Recruiting events, Jace says, like a story time or comedy troubadour night, maybe being available for new peeps, making a goodie bag for starter gear and some gil, make a good impression. Not a bad idea. Those kind of things also take someone who wants to spearhead that. That means we need somebody that's really passionate enough to kind of be the driving force in that, because of how many other things logistics and council has on our hands. If we had a person that their sole thing was like a passion for recruitment, and they could put that together on a regular basis or semi-regular basis, that'd be awesome. That'd be freaking awesome. And I'd definitely be down for that myself. Recruiting event to do public giveaway in hub cities. Also not a bad idea. Not a bad idea to attract a crowd with a giveaway, and then just speak about recruitment. Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. I can see a few people in chat that are very, very passionate about recruiting. That's really good to see. Vanika said thought something like that, but for another day of the week, we could do a recovery day. Members that missed events, gives people like a section. We used to have that. We called it raid catch-up night. It was very much a I see Vishwan wanting to speak. One sec, Vish. Let me read this and then I'll pull you up. We had what we called what did we call it? Catch-up raid night. It was like a day or two before the weekly raid, not on Tuesday. We do it on Tuesday because that's weekly reset. So doing it a couple nights beforehand gave those who might be able to make it to the catch-up raid night a chance to get their raid loot and clears before the weekly reset. We did have that. Reason why we don't have that anymore is not only because of changes in logistics and overall FC needs and interests, but the fact that so many people can get it through the week that slot ended up being better used for other things, and not enough people were showing interest at that time. Those are things that we probably should make note of in the council to say, well, that's very related to whoever might be around now, might be different than who wasn't attending in the past. So to have a catch-up raid night isn't a bad idea, but again, it does take people on board to to host them, because we could tell the community, hey, this is the night that everybody should gather and do this, but without having it anchored through a host, can be kind of sloppy. Not saying that whoever does it would be sloppy, but it's sloppy to not have a targeted individual who can do the call outs, remind everybody what's happening, and then put parties together and host them. And that's going to be the job of either a sergeant in training or a captain up. So we would have to organize that, which also means we need more people. So this is all coming back down to, we need more people stepping up and also people recruiting. To be able to manage this and organize it better. Otherwise, the current team, who is already supporting like 10 events a week, is going to get stretched really thin, unless we have members that might want to volunteer for. We do have a role called event host role, which is not always a captain. It's 99% it's going to be a captain or higher, but a member can actually sign up for that to be able to at least be a party lead for something, which can also help. We got lots more good feedback here in chat. I'm going to pull Vesh up next because he raised his hand earlier. Hey Vesh, welcome back.
Yeah. So kind of piggybacking off of Vanica, what they had said, and kind of this whole thing. An idea I have that the logistics, the specifics, details, all that can be worked out afterwards. But what might be worth looking at is having a sort of content request ticket system where people, like, they're looking for a group, but maybe no one's on at the moment or whatever, so they could maybe put in a request in a channel for a, scout, sergeant, or captain or higher to look at, not to do it as an event for like catch up and stuff, but instead look at and go, okay, well, what time do they want to do this, and try and maybe talk to them, work out the logistics, and find volunteers that they'll reach out to, like other scouts, to then help them do that content. Something where we can work it out, because like we're not always necessarily in the same chat at the same time, or I might be on a different game, but I'd be willing to jump over and help out if I got reached out to saying, hey, we got a member needing this. Just some way to coordinate that. A system for some of these people to put in requests for content that they need help clearing this, or they want to clear that or get that.
Sounds like LFG services that we need to develop more.
Yeah, something that just in that little way
is supposed to be facilitating that, and nobody other than maybe one person's reached out.
Okay, so we need to increase awareness and also provide instructions on how to use it.
Yeah,
make
but
sure that it's easy and understandable.
My thing with that is, does the LFG bot have the ability to like plan a week or two out, or is it just put it in and it tells people and then they might try and get it right then and there? That's the thing. Or is it going to coordinate it like an event and schedule it for several days or a week or so out? That's where I'm saying maybe having a scout captain in the play
forum, an LFG forum, so at least we can see like a large number of posts that's an in Discord forum, like one of those forum channels, so people can like basically they're like making posts on a board, and then
that's how most Discords handle it.
Okay.
Yeah. Do a LFG forum, and then people can post.
That might be a better idea than the bot.
That's not bad, but my experience in other games and other groups and stuff is that those channels largely get ignored because there's so much spam going on, they don't bother to check it. Whereas if we had a system in place where there's somebody in the leadership or scout ranks even looking over the stuff and then try and help coordinate on behalf of the person requesting a little bit, kind of reaching out, maybe something a little more proactive than just a forum, because that is very hit and miss in my experience in the past.
We could put the forum up as a way to like have a community-driven list that will help us know, and then we could also find something else that will help us, like, work. Like, say, like we have our meetings and stuff, and we're like, okay, we need to start working down this list. It'll kind of create like a queue for support and leadership to kind of look at and work on.
See, we already have an LFG chat, and people aren't using it.
It doesn't really get used, yeah. It's nobody's fault. It's just that, like, it's situational, and also, like, there's so much that can just be done, like, through in-game. Just, either get something out of the way, put up a party finder, or ask in chat in-game and get it done. So it's like, these would be, like, LFG services in our Discord were basically serving a purpose of, like, something you need to schedule a group for, or something that would be harder than the average just duty finder situation.
Right, yeah.
So we need to look into that more for sure. This is a good conversation because it brings up like, a lot of potential ideas that we could work on and kind of develop together. Definitely open to suggestions on that for sure.
Yeah, and my idea with that was also just that something like that could be a little bit of a during content droughts like this, or when we don't have all the content from Dawn Trail out quite yet to fully do, 24-man raid nights and all that. We could have, fill-in events, as it were, to help get other people stuff that they need a little bit more flexibly.
That is something we're kind of working on for Tuesdays, as far as like something limited time that we can fit in that would get people stuff. We just don't want to confirm what it is just yet. But I think if we start by, I know it doesn't resolve the full issue, but if we start by having a board that people can post on, that at least gives people a place that we can see more clearly than a chat channel. And we can start working on that as if it was like a queue, over time. But we just don't want that to get ignored. So maybe we'll just put that up for now as we develop something else. But let me see here. Thanks for grabbing buffs, Defensor. Let me go back up in chat here. Yeah, LG and Discord. We get people starting using chat more. Yeah, okay. Go back up. A bunch of stuff happened since I scrolled. Set up as a vote to what we run on for the evening. We'll think about that. Given that our bot can do a lot of stuff like that too. Going after other content like hunts, fates, dances, and music. Okay, noting that down. There are some fate chains that are really cool. They're kind of situational to what's going on in the zone, though. It might be like half over, if we got there and have to wait for them. So I don't know about that. Public events, solidarity, community, social type events. I like the way you think, Jace. I mean, you were all posting very good feedback for us. But outside of content, normal battle content, we need that kind of stuff too. Building more community solidarity is always very important. Let's see. And then back to the recovery day. Yeah. I can't assure that all of these suggestions will have answers soon. But they're going into our notes 100%. And it's very, very good for us to know, what you guys are thinking too. So combine the board with a potential bi-weekly or monthly vote. That might be something we can do leading up to Dawn Trail. We want to pick an option that doesn't stress the logistics too much, or members that are, working on a lot of stuff. Definitely something that will create a visible way for us to see and work on, like creating, a member-built queue for support and council, for support that wants to help work on it, and council that could definitely, help lead through that. That's also going to give some leaders that might be caught up on everything something to do that's easy. Okay. Well, yeah, maybe only monthly. Yeah, we'll see. Because we also want to put together like a community game night type thing every once in a while. Kind of just break the mold of just doing content events in one game. And we have to we're going to be repurposing Tuesdays, and then also trying to work on some more LFG options. So yeah, good stuff all around, guys. Checking Twitch and Discord one more time. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and end Q&A. Want to thank everybody for coming out to our Azure Grand Assembly for April 2024. We had tons of feedback. Lots of stuff talked about today, and even a historic moment with our promotion ceremony. Very, very historic. And of course, those watching in the future on our assembly casts, thank you so much for checking and sticking through this long with us. This was an extra long assembly. It was an hour longer than normal. We covered a ton today. And I want to thank our scouts as well for being so supportive. I want to thank our members who showed up today and support the FC, the new recruits who've joined us recently, and the Azure Council members, new and old, who are beside me here. It takes all of us to make this thing go forward, always. And I am definitely optimistic about Azure's future and current status because there are so many good people here that are interested in this community and its future. And I just want to thank everybody one more time for their support and for coming tonight and also listening in the future. Thank you for those joining us on Twitch as well, those that are within the company as well as those who stopped by to check us out. And with that, that concludes our April assembly. As free as the Azure sky.
Oh, we got one more thing to do.
What's that?
We got an auction.
An auction?
Yeah, we got to auction off your Lalafell, so you'll
Oh
stop
my
popping
goodness.
it out.
So silly. All right, guys.